Welcome everybody to our second General Senate session for this year. I'm thrilled to welcome Lowell Kane, the Director of the Purdue LGBTQ Center and the Director of Student Engagement and Belonging at Purdue, to our meeting tonight. Lowell has been an advocate and leader in the LGBTQ community for more than a decade, with specializations in educational programming, support services, fostering collaborative partnerships, establishing safe zone programs, facilitation and training, and leadership development. As an alumnus of the Transformative Social Justice Training Institute, Kane has dedicated his work to the pursuit of equity by identifying ways to improve campus climate and shape the educational experience to be more inclusive and welcoming of all students, including LGBTQ and ally people. In addition to his work in higher education, Kane has consulted on projects for NASA's Johnson Space Center, the RAND Corporation, the Idyllwild Museum of American Indians and Western Art, and the Fundamental Rights Committee of the Parliament of Nepal. Wow, what a biography. Lowell, we're so excited to have you here tonight, and with that, you can take it away.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me some time to join you and share a little bit about the work that we're doing at the LGBTQ Center and also in the Division of Diversity and Inclusion. My hope is that I can share a little bit about our work right now and also leave ample time for some question and answer. I certainly look forward to meeting with you all in person throughout the year and welcome you to come and meet with me at the LGBTQ Center over in Schliemann Hall. And so also, I'm a fairly, what I would say, informal speaker. So if you have questions, certainly there's time at the end of this, but if you have a question in the middle, please feel free to ask during the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that I can pull up a presentation. And I will start from the beginning. Let's see, slideshow. All right. So I'm here today to share a little bit about our work, both my job as the Director of the LGBTQ Center and Director of Student Engagement and Belonging in Diversity and Inclusion. Many of you may know that this is the 10th anniversary of the LGBTQ Center on campus. It's a very prestigious space to be in on a campus that has dedicated resources, dedicated staff, personnel, budget, programming around gender and sexuality. And to have a milestone year, a 10th anniversary year, it's a big deal. So we're celebrating big. We're really glad that we're able to be in person again this year. We've been planning for some time for this milestone anniversary. So it's a great joy for us that we're back in person this year. So knock on wood, we're doing everything we can to keep everyone safe. We're doing a lot of outdoor programming. If you see us outdoors, you'll see rainbow flags everywhere we go. You'll see us out and about. And so a lot of our events this year have this secondary mark, the celebrating 10 years. So you'll consistently be able to tell when our events are happening across campus. But the LGBTQ Center is, again, it opened in July of 2012, and it's a space that really provides programming resources, support, crisis support, information, events and activities. And it really is a space for all people, students, staff, faculty, community, alumni, whoever may need resources or just a place to land. All 5 of our cultural centers, we work in tandem with the Black Cultural Center, Latino Cultural Center, Native American Cultural Center, and Asian American Resource and Cultural Center to create a diversity and inclusion landing pad and information space for all students, staff, and faculty, and also to work towards creating an affirming campus for everybody. And so that's really our emphasis, our work. And we are a big chunk of what is known as the Division of Diversity and Inclusion. Diversity and inclusion is more than just the cultural centers. We report up through Dr. Gates, the Vice Provost for Diversity and Inclusion, up to the Chief Diversity Officer, which is also Provost Ackridge. And so that's our institutional alignment. Because we are not part of student life, which on many campuses you might find a multicultural office, or you might find resources like ours housed in student life. Here at Purdue, we have a unique relationship, I would say, that aligns us through a vice provost and up to the chief diversity officer, which is our provost. That gives us the special opportunity, I think, to go beyond serving students alone and addressing issues like policy issues, healthcare issues, and statewide issues. We are a land grant institution, so it's not uncommon for any of our cultural centers to address issues at the state level, answer questions, and also work with other universities, schools, and community resources that might be working on diversity issues at large. The staff of the LGBTQ Center is small but mighty. We are a powerful team. Currently, we are 3 full-time staff members, myself as director, and I have been at the LGBTQ Center since day one. I opened the doors on July 16th of 2012. Our second hire was our current assistant director, Aiden Powell. Aiden's been with us for just over 7 years now. And Kelsey Chapman, our program coordinator, joined our staff about 3 years ago. Kelsey graduated from Purdue and has been an asset and a tremendous resource for the community. Grew up in Lafayette area, is intimately connected to resources in our greater Lafayette community, and is a wonderful, like I said, recent alumnus of the university. And so we're thrilled that we can support Purdue students, Boilermakers, and the whole community at large. We do have graduate and undergraduate student workers, and we also have a very large volunteer network of students, as well as interns that work with the center as well. But this is the full-time staff of the center. And so when you see large-scale programs that are put on campus, this is primarily the staff that is coordinating the work. Our center is serving a very large population. It is difficult to get accurate numbers on any campus. And everybody wants to know, right, how many students, how many people are in any population, right? We always want to know demographic data. But our best data comes from a really important survey, a national survey called the American College Health Association Survey, ACHA data. And what they're looking at is student behavior, health behavior, risk behavior. And what we've learned from the ACHA data, it's a report that's done every year, hundreds of thousands of participants across thousands of universities participate in this rich data source. And what we're able to identify at a national level is that approximately 23% in this year, 2021, approximately 23% of college-age students are identifying in a spectrum of diverse genders and sexualities. What that means is that we can't directly say how each student is identifying, but 23% of college-age students are not identifying as heterosexual and cisgender. So there's a diversity of identities that fall under an LGBTQ plus umbrella. And they do have some breakdown data that we can look at. Now at Purdue, we do have a tool that we have created in-house. We call it the Sexual Orientation Gender Identity Database. And our numbers that we see, and we work on campus with iData to work with our data aligns with national data. We look and say about 20% of Purdue students also similarly identify as not heterosexual, not cisgender. So that's a really large number. We always give a range, though, between 7,500 and 9,000 students at the Purdue campus are somewhere in a spectrum of LGBTQIA+. So you'll see that acronym has a plus sign because, again, it's a spectrum of identities. And so our work as an office on campus allows us to do outreach and collaboration with campus partners, community partners. We address, not just creating a safer space within our office, but also the milieu environment where students, staff, and faculty are engaging day in and day out, whether that's in the classroom, whether it's in housing areas, in student health areas, safety issues, restrooms and facilities, student organizations. For staff and faculty, a couple of years ago, we helped establish a Purdue Employee Pride organization. And we're very fortunate because in addition to all of these great resources that we also have an existing Pride Lafayette organization in the greater Lafayette area downtown. Pride Lafayette as a LGBTQ center predates the Purdue University LGBTQ Center by almost a decade. And they are responsible for putting on downtown activities and events like Outfest, the downtown Pride Festival that happens annually. We do, of course, participate in national rankings. And so even this year, you'll see in this image on the right that Purdue is ranked 5 out of 5 stars by our largest national ranking body, which is called Campus Pride. They do a full inventory. It's hundreds of questions that they ask institutions every year, and they actually create a 35-page long report for these institutions nationwide. And ours for several years now is 5 out of 5 stars. When we opened the LGBTQ Center in 2012, the very first year that we opened the center and started as a baseline, we opened at a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And so there has been incremental growth over time. We are still not perfect. And so there's always room for growth, which is exciting for us. So I'm looking forward to a day when we can say we are really pushing that almost 100%. I don't think any institution has gotten it perfect, and I don't know that we ever will. We do like to say, of course, at Purdue that persistence is rewarded. So starting last year, Purdue has also been recognized amongst the best of the best colleges. So last year we were categorized in this very elite ranking, which looked at only a subset of the elite and topmost 40 universities in the country. And even this year, we are once again ranked as the #1 most LGBTQ inclusive campus in Indiana. So it's the top choice for LGBTQ students to come to in the state of Indiana, which surprises a lot of students when folks have always or often heard, oh, I should go to, that school down the road. I won't even name it, but it's a couple hours away. People often think that that's the spot to go to, or that that's the more progressive institution for LGBTQ people to be at. In fact, we have for the last couple of years consistently been ranked nationally at a higher level. So today, fall 2021, we just ran our data because I knew that I was coming to this presentation and I wanted to share relevant information for you as of this moment. We have been very busy at the center. Since we opened for classes this fall 2021, so roughly 20 days into the semester, not even 3 weeks, the LGBTQ Center has tracked 1,314 visits to the LGBTQ Center. That does not include programming. It does not include events. It does not include recurring events or Fabulous Fridays or Rainbow Call Out. That's just people coming into the center and signing in, 1,314. To give you some context, this same time period, 20 days into the semester in fall 2019, so our last pre-COVID data, the LGBTQ Center had tracked 1,033 visits. So we are seeing an increase of approximately 30% in tracked visitation for this same time period for the last pre-COVID data set. That's a huge jump in visitation. And we're very excited by this. It is also a big challenge for us because we have actually seen a decrease in staffing. And so we actually are stretched a little bit thin at the LGBTQ Center because we've seen an increase of 1/3 in visitation and a decrease in our staffing. So we're stretched thin, but it's very exciting for us to see so much visitation at the center. The average duration of stay, so how long are students staying at the center, is 77 minutes. They are there to do homework. They are there to study. Sometimes they're there to take a nap. Sometimes they're there to have food. Sometimes students are there to do homework. It's a great place to be in between classes. But 77 minutes is the average stay that a student will be at the center before they log out of our database. And then our major and recurring events have also seen significant growth in utilization. And so Fabulous Friday is a weekly event at the center. Many of you may have seen it or participated, but that event has seen a double participation rate since 2019 data. We've seen it increase 100%. Our annual ice cream social, we had planned to double that in scale. But because we knew that this would be part of the week of welcome or weeks of welcome, Purdue Wow, in fact, we ended up having to quadruple the scale of it. And we were not prepared for that. I will say that was a surprise to us. And the biggest and most exciting event that we've recently had was last Thursday. We held our annual Rainbow Call Out. That is our welcome back to campus for new and returning folks. And historically, that event has taken up both of the ballrooms in the Union, we were told in 2019 we had outgrown the 2 ballrooms in the Union, which is a very large space. Typically, that event would draw 1,300 to 1,500 attendees. We planned to move that event outdoors, one, because it was growing, and two, for COVID safety measures. We thought maybe we would see 2,000, 2,500 attendees. There were, in fact, well over 3,300 attendees at last Thursday's Rainbow Callout. So if you went to it, it was a wonderful event, and the photos from it are fantastic. But it's a 2-hour welcome back, and that event has become one of the largest welcome backs to campus for all people. In fact, that photograph at the bottom is part of the performances, the drag performances that happened at Rainbow Callout. Our LGBTQ Center is known for a dynamic calendar of engaging programs, events, and services. And so you might find that there are distinguished speakers who are coming to the institution, artists, scholars, celebrities, thought leaders, right, who are here. Purdue it's an institution that is leading the country. So the speakers who we try to bring to campus are the leading speakers on the issues of gender and sexuality. So we try at least, a couple of times per semester to have an incredible speaker join us at the institution. The LGBTQ Center is also well known for providing training workshops, right? Safe zone training and trans inclusion trainings are very well known. We also do training by request. So student organizations, faculty organizations, faculty units on campus, and staff units may request of the LGBTQ Center a workshop or training around inclusion, something to do perhaps, and I can give a good example. Greek Life just reached out to us about having conversations within a house about how do you have a diverse organization? How do you maintain a diverse organization? So we do a lot of workshops, in particular with Greek Life. We do maintain a speakers bureau, and this is one of the great opportunities for student volunteers. We get asked all the time about volunteer opportunities. The Speakers Bureau is a training that we give to students about public speaking and also the power of autobiography. How do we tell our story, and how does it empower us? And also, how does it change hearts and minds? And so this is a way that students may be participating in a workshop briefly, only maybe about 10 to 15 minutes of a full workshop, where they may join us to answer questions or share from their lived experience, right? This is my thoughts, my feelings, my experience, or here is my guidance or advising on how to best solve a challenge, right, that you may ask about. It does not mean that it's the only way to do something or the only thought on an issue. It's just from their unique perspective. And we do hear a great deal of feedback from people who hear the Speakers Bureau, that it is transformative, it's educational, and it does, as I said, change hearts and minds in a lot of ways. And for the students who are participating as the speakers, it's a very powerful experience for them to share their story, first of all. And it also is a great professional development opportunity. Public speaking is an experience that not a lot of students may have. And this is a way for them to really develop and hone that skill. And a lot of our students have told us that by participating in the Speakers Bureau, they have later developed that skill so that when they go out on the job market or when they're interviewing later in life, this has become something that has empowered them. Our study abroad program has been on hold, unfortunately, because of the pandemic. And this is something we're really trying to figure out a way around, or to resolve, I should say, not around. We are hoping for safer times when we can bring our study abroad back online, because for us, we want to participate, right, again, in the university's commitment to international study, to study abroad. We do lead a study abroad program that takes students to New York, Paris, and Berlin for 6 weeks and 6 credits. It is an international award-winning study abroad program. And I should note here, I am also affiliated faculty in the College of Liberal Arts in Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies and History Studies. I teach throughout the entire year in fall, spring, and summer session. And so this is an amazing And it's a much beloved and a piece of the center that I miss tremendously, because bringing students for an international experience and to see how queer history, culture, and identity development, and also activism exists in other spaces is amazing. It's influential, and it has also dramatically impacted our lives on campus. A result of this study abroad program early on in its development was a partnership that we had with a phenomenal educational and activist group to bring a healthcare component back to our campus, which was pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP. It's a once-a-day pill that people can take to prevent the spread of HIV. And we were one of the first campuses in the country to have PrEP available through our student healthcare plan, and it was a direct outcome of this study abroad program. We are deeply invested in the minor, the studies, LGBTQ studies minor. Again, as I said, I'm affiliated faculty in the program. We teach out of the center. We have an internship program also through the center. Students can take up to 3 credit hours and intern through the center and do practicum studies. Both undergraduate and graduate students, I should note, take internship credits through the LGBTQ Center. And of course, we love to celebrate students from Rainbow Callout, which you see that photo at the bottom, which is our welcome to campus, all the way through the end of somebody's career on campus. Lavender graduation is our ceremony when we celebrate graduates. And also, I should note, beyond, right? There is also an LGBTQ plus alumni network through Purdue for Life, our foundation for alumni. And so wherever a student may find themselves in their career, finding support, needing connection, connecting with the LGBTQ plus community, the LGBTQ Center is an umbrella service organization and resource for them. I should note, last year, our Lavender graduation was the biggest, even though we had the pandemic. It was the biggest Lavender graduation we ever had. We had more than 106 students in Lavender graduation. And I've already mentioned Fabulous Fridays being a recurring event every week. And Game Night is our fastest growing program. It is a place where students can come together on a recurring basis, again, engaging in everything from board games to Dungeons and Dragons to tabletop games, all the way down to like a Nintendo Switch. We have a little bit of everything going on at the center. However people want to engage, they can. Game nights is a great way for students too, who can't necessarily make it to the center during the day when, you know, our usual operating hours may be in place, which are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Being in Schliemann Hall, we are a bit limited by the hours of the building. And so on game nights, we are able to work with the building deputy to keep the building open later. And so this is a really important evening because it's a time when students, graduate students, folks who have non-traditional hours may be able to come to our space and be in community, folks who may not traditionally be able to be there. This year is a busy year for us. As I said, we are always known for our dynamic events and speakers and the events that we put on. And this is just a quick snapshot of some of the things that we have going on in this 10th anniversary year, this celebration year. Excuse me while I have some water. Fabulous Friday is weekly, so don't miss that. Game nights are monthly. We may end up making game nights more frequently than monthly because there's a demand for it. But some of the speakers who are coming this year are just exceptional. And our first speaker at the bottom, sort of towards the center with the pride flag behind her, is Dr. Ronnie Sanlow. Dr. Ronnie Sanlow is the Director Emeritus of the UCLA LGBTQ Center, an extremely highly regarded professional in LGBTQ work, scholar in LGBTQ research, the first person to come up with the concept of a lavender graduation nearly 3 decades ago. Ronnie is amazing and has published extensively about student success and also some of the unique challenges and concerns that LGBTQ students may experience in higher education. So we're thrilled that Ronnie is joining us in October. We also have Chloe Davis joining us this year. Chloe just published the book, The Queen's English, which is sort of a fully comprehensive LGBTQ plus dictionary. And the beautiful thing about this book is not only is it a beautiful book in and of itself. You open the pages and everything in the book is gorgeous. But Chloe does an amazing job of unpacking the language within our language. Every community has in-group language, and Chloe seeks to help folks understand where queer LGBTQ plus lingo comes from, how much of our language is connected to queer people of color communities, right? And all of the connections also through activism as well. So we are so excited to work with Chloe. And I also should note that Chloe has a local Lafayette connection that we'll discuss during her presentation as well. And so we're thrilled that this award-winning author, highly recognized author with a local connection is coming to speak with us. We have Jacob Tobiah all the way on the right top with beautiful earrings and pink lips. Jacob Tobiah is an internationally regarded, highly famous figure talking about diversity of gender and sexuality. They're also well-known because they're a voice in the anime She-Ra. So a lot of the students in the center know them from She-Ra. I will say that's outside of my scope, but we're thrilled that they're going to be our major keynote speaker in March. As part of National Hispanic Heritage Month and in collaboration with the Latino Cultural Center and Convos, we are doing a very important screening of the new documentary Frida, Viva la Vida. That's coming up in October. And then in the bottom right, you'll see this 19th century photo of a very dapper gentleman who is actually a Purdue professor. And we have done a great deal of digging through history. And I don't want to give too much away about who that is, but also coming up later this semester, we've sort of framed the fall as looking into the past and the spring as looking into the future. This individual, whose name is Professor Reinhard, we are going to talk about the history, the LGBTQ history of Purdue University in a really fabulous, powerful, and poignant way. And he is sort of our origin point. And we're going to sort of transport ourselves from the 19th century through really significant moments in time, actions and activism and student organizations being developed, of course, the history of the LGBTQ Center, and then we're going to talk about the future of the center. And the future of the center is very dynamic because, as the provost has recently announced, and as Dr. Gates has shared more about, the center is relocating and growing in the year ahead. And so I did want to put up here, this is sort of an overview of what is available through the LGBTQ Center. These are all pieces that I have sort of touched on already, some specific resources that are available at the center. We are a sort of one-stop shop for everything and everyone. We encourage all people to come by the center, but the center is, as I said, growing in significant and meaningful ways and with investment from the institution. Students in particular feel that this is a place that means a lot to them and that they belong in space like this, and that it also encourages them to be better, do better, and be the best student and Boilermaker that they can possibly be. I won't necessarily read the quotes directly from them. You can read the quotes that are on screen, but we know from the data that we collect, and the LGBTQ Center is data rich, and that's something that I will always note. Both Aiden, our assistant director, and myself, we come out of data sciences. We collect data on everything. So if you want data about anything, please ask us for it. But our students really share, and faculty and staff as well, that the work that is coming out of the center is meaningful. It's creating a deep connection to people and to our community and to our campus. And that creates a space where students, staff, and faculty can persist and succeed on campus. And that's when we see retention, right? That's when we see recruitment. And when we see people also make it, right, to graduation and beyond. When we see folks be their most successful selves. And the final piece I wanted to touch on today, as I said, is this idea of relocation and expansion. This is a very important institutional investment, and it's a part of this 10-year anniversary for us. So we announced recently that the center is moving from Schliemann Hall to Hicks, the underground cafe area. we are currently in regular meetings with the architects, designers. My whole staff is a part of this process. It's every couple of weeks that we have these meetings, and we are fully deciding what the center will look like, feel like, the furniture, the layout, you name it, from floor to wall to ground to ceiling. This is a intentionally designed LGBTQ center that we will be moving into in 2023 and opening in 2023, I should say. And the beautiful thing about it is that, again, the design is data-driven and student-informed. We have sourced our information, the need, everything is coming out of student voice. And so we will, of course, have offices for staff, but there will be more meeting rooms, reception space, programming space, study space, storage, quiet meeting rooms, a kitchenette for the first time. And also we are building a gender inclusive bathroom facility in that new space. We do not yet have high resolution renderings to share, but by October we should. So I'm very much looking forward to sharing that with you. And I hope that these can be ongoing conversations for us. And I truly look forward to sharing more with you. I believe that is all that I have as far as slides, but I encourage you to follow the LGBTQ Center on our social media. We try to keep it consistent at Purdue LGBTQ. And of course, you can always contact us at lgbtq@purdue.edu. This is the best way to reach us anytime. I'm also available personally at lowell@purdue.edu. So you can always reach me individually. And I would love to open up for questions if there are any questions.
Yeah. President Kang?
Hi, Lowell.
Hi.
Just wanted you to touch on something that you maybe forgot. So in addition, so that 77 minutes that students are spending at the cultural center, yes, they're taking naps. They're probably looking at that amazing artwork that's just challenges society, challenges our norms, which I think everyone should go and look at. But then other than that, you have Pippa. Can you talk a little bit about Pippa?
Yes, famous Pippa. So you may have seen a recent Exponent article. I do come to work very often with Pippa. Pippa is my personal ESA, or emotional support animal. So you may often, if you come by the center, meet Pippa. She is in my office, often behind a little baby gate that she could jump if she really wanted to, but she's trained not to. But folks are welcome to meet her, engage with her. She is a highly friendly, wonderful puppy, but she is a trained emotional support animal. And one of the beautiful and unexpected outcomes of her being with me is that she has also had an impact on other people. And I think that's very special. And like I said, an unexpected and unintended outcome. You may or may not know that emotional support animals are an accommodation. They are not something, that is just a decision made lightly. In order to bring an emotional support animal to work with you, or if you're a student, to campus with you, you have to go through a process. You bring documentation. For me, for a staff person, you bring documentation through human resources. It does have to come from a licensed counselor or somebody else. And this is an outcome of a family medical crisis, and stress and anxiety is the component that Pippa assists with. She helps me be a better employee. She helps me be more productive. She helps reduce stress. That's her role. So she reduces stress and anxiety with me. But the unintended byproduct of her being there is that, in fact, she does that service for anybody who meets her. And I'm so grateful that that outcome exists, because a lot of students are experiencing heightened levels of stress and anxiety. We're still, I don't like to say post-pandemic at all, because we're in the pandemic still. And so a lot of our students are very stressed. A lot of our students are experiencing mental health challenges, or are waiting to see or meet with a counselor, and are coming to our cultural centers or the Dean of Students office, which is just down the hall from us. And our spaces may serve as a triage location that a student is going to wait before they can meet with somebody. And so having her there has become like this amazing benefit for so many people. And I appreciate you asking that question, President Kang, because again, it was never the intention, but the outcome has been a tremendous benefit for so many people.
Yes, and myself included.
Yeah, Pippa is an angel. Senator Branda?
So something I was wondering about is, it seems like a really smart idea for you guys to transfer to Hicks, especially. I mean, I can think of lots of reasons, like the union reopening, and maybe like the fact that you talked about hours being difficult, but like Hicks is open a significantly longer period of each day. But like, what was the specific? Do you guys have any specific reasons for why you really want to be in Hicks or anything like that?
Thank you for that question. That's also wonderful. So a lot of the choice for that location has to do with the extended hours. So our peer cultural centers are able to stay open until 9 p.m. because of their facilities. And so being in Hicks will enable us also to similarly be open later, ideally till 9 p.m., assuming that we have staffing to cover those hours. And we should once we're in that location. Again, also the traffic, the foot traffic being in sort of the newer foot patterns that will be established as offices relocate with data science moving in towards Schliemann, you will see sort of a shift in student services on campus and students really congregating, I think, more towards the Union Stewart Center, that area of campus. I think we're going to just see as busier. So for us, there's that added benefit of being in the student foot traffic area. And then we also wanted to prioritize our location of being close to resources that we use every day to meet student needs. So yes, it's very important for us to be in proximity to our peer cultural centers, but it's also important for us to be within walking distance, very close proximity to the resources that we rely on every day to meet student needs. It is not unusual for us every single day to walk a student over, again, it's just down the hall from us right now, but to the Dean of Students office, or upstairs is the Division of Financial Aid. Right below us is OSRR, the Student Rights and Responsibility. We have, of course, admissions, right? Schliemann has sort of been a little bubble of amazing resources. And so as we considered the relocation of the center, we really wanted to take into account proximity of additional resources that we're going to need to utilize. And so we know we have a sense, at least, of where other offices will land. And we wanted to be close to our colleagues so that we can continue meeting the needs of students every single day. Great question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Brenda. Lynn, go ahead.
I will. So I don't know what kind of influence that the LGBTQ Center has with this, but in past years, Bush had provided trans students with healthcare, starting HRT and continuing HRT, hormone replacement therapy, but that's no longer offered at Push. I wonder if we're working on a way to reintroduce that into Push, or if there's a way that we can get that started so we can have HRT available for trans students on campus.
Let me start by thanking you for bringing up this tremendous concern. This is one of our gravest concerns and one of our biggest critiques of the institution. It is one of our biggest critiques of healthcare at Purdue and one of our biggest critiques of healthcare in the area. Healthcare and health access for trans and non-binary community members is a huge challenge. Healthcare access for LGBTQ folks and people of color is a huge challenge. And so this is an area that we have been pushing for consistently, and it is an area where we have not been able to make great leaps yet. And so, yes, let me start by saying that we are always engaging in that conversation and that push for the resource, and we need it. We need help. We need more voices. we would love for PSG to assist with that conversation and any support that we can have, because that is a critical resource. And in fact, what I mentioned earlier, that we don't have a 100% rating from Campus Pride, we actually, I can tell you the number, we have a 92% out of 100. So even if we have 5 out of 5 stars, the reason we do not have a 100% rating, where we see points removed from Purdue, is because of exactly what you are highlighting. It's areas like healthcare. And so healthcare should be a human right. We recognize that at the LGBTQ Center, but it is not. We do not have equitable access. We do not have access to hormone replacement therapy easily, and we should. And in fact, we did at some points, and it was removed. So this is probably one of the biggest areas that we could use help with. And I have to say also, again, thank you for raising that concern. I'm grateful that you are aware that that's one of our biggest challenges.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. That was an excellent question. Do we have any other questions? Go ahead, Lily.
Hi, well, just to follow up on that, is there any other concerns or issues that you feel as though we as student leaders and student representatives should be looking at and that we can help the LGBTQ Center with?
Oh gosh, I have like a dream list of areas that we can work on together. That's actually based on sort of the 8 missing points from our Campus Pride list. That's the work that we really institutionally have to do. You know, of course, any office on campus, any resource, especially in diversity and inclusion, would always start by telling you that we are understaffed and underfunded. And I think that's not unique to diversity and inclusion or Purdue University, right? I think that's an institutional issue in higher education. It's a challenge that we all face. But really, right, I want to center student need. At the center, at Purdue's LGBTQ Center, we are very student focused. And so I would really start by looking at that Campus Pride report. And quite honestly, I would love to sit down if there are a couple of senators who'd be interested in maybe working on like a subcommittee or perhaps working on some legislation with us. I would be absolutely thrilled to work with you on addressing some of these challenges through legislation.
Yeah, if anybody's directly interested in that, you can come find me after Senate and I can set up a connection email. Do we have any other questions? Lowell, thank you so much for meeting with us this evening. We really appreciate it. You gave such an in-depth, exceptional presentation, and I know we all learned something tonight. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for all the work, Robert.
Awesome. With that, we will go ahead and get started. Welcome, and at 7:48, I will now call this meeting to order. First, we'll get started with the introduction of visitors. If you're a visitor this evening, please state your name and reason for being here. Just for our visitors, you can press your finger down on the button, on the black thing right in front of you, and when you see the green light light up, you're good to start speaking. So we can start back there.
Hi, I don't know if this is working. I can just talk. Hi, my name's Kaylee Halada. I am here, I'm part of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and I'm the president, so me and a couple other members from the executive board will be coming to the Senate meetings on the first.
Awesome, thank you. We can continue down. Rachel, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rachel Bleckner. I'm a associate justice appointment.
Go.
Hi, I'm Rachel Gleckner. I'm an associate justice appointment.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Erin Burke. I'm here for the Safer Committee.
Hello, I'm Grace Kowalski, and I'm also here with the Safer Committee.
I'm Isabel Addington, and I'm also here for the Safer Committee.
Go ahead.
My name's Taylor Rennes. I'm here with the Exponent.
Awesome. Our 2 new senators, you can go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Lynn, new senator for College of Science.
Hi, my name is Pritham. I'm a senator for the College of Science.
You guys can go ahead.
Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm an appointment for the Co-Executive Director of Sustainability.
Hi, my name is Saipriya, and I'm the appointment for the Co-Executive Director for Sustainability.
Awesome. Any other visitors? Now on to proxy reports. If you are a proxy, please state your name and the senator you're proxying for.
Hi, I'm Austin Wright. I'm proxying for Scott Ashby.
Awesome. Welcome, Austin. Any other proxies? Perfect. Then we'll get started with our land acknowledgement. Purdue student government acknowledges the traditional homelands of the indigenous people which Purdue University is built upon. We honor and appreciate the Potawatomi, Delaware, Miami, and Shawnee people who are the original caretakers of this land. And then before we get started with the Pledge of Purpose, we're going to have our Chief Justice install our two new senators. So you guys can all come down here.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Follow me over here, guys. All right, can everyone hear me? Cool deal. All right, so you two can speak at the same time. Just repeat after me, okay? I, and state your name.
Hi, Pritham Sambhata.
On this 15th day of September 2021.
On this 15th day of September 2021.
Swear to abide by and uphold.
Swear to abide by and uphold.
The Constitution and the bylaws.
The Constitution and the bylaws.
Of the Purdue Student Government.
Of the Purdue Student Government.
I swear to conduct.
I swear to conduct.
All legislative business.
All legislative business.
With the utmost integrity.
With the utmost integrity.
And with the best interest of Purdue University and its student body.
And with the best interest of Purdue University and its student body.
As my main objectives.
As my main objectives.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Can you all hear me okay? Cool. Okay. Senators, please rise for the Pledge of Purpose. Our purpose is to be the voice of the Purdue. Thank you. The minutes for the last meeting were distributed to you all via Google Drive. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as distributed. Now moving on to executive reports. President Kang, would you like to go first?
Yes, but before we do you want to take roll call?
Yeah, I did completely skip over that. Let's go ahead and do roll call, President Kang.
Alrighty. Senator Reynolds? Here. Senator Ferguson?
Here.
Senator Barunda?
Here.
Senator Ashby? Oh, Roxy.
Here.
Thank you. Senator Terrell?
Here.
Senator Perello?
Here.
Senator Fridolin?
Here.
Senator Merkel?
Here.
Senator Knaus?
Here.
Senator Chris?
Here.
Senator Dodona?
Here.
Senator Bridges?
Here.
Senator Boftus?
Here.
Did I say that right?
It's Booftus.
Boftus, thank you. Senator Brown?
Here.
Senator Askinis,
Here.
Senator Fitchner,
Here.
Senator Thomas,
Here.
Senator Silver,
Here.
Senator Sambather. How do I say that? Sambather. Senator de Guzman.
Here.
Senator Nator. Senator Nator. Senator Corona. Corona.
Yeah, here.
Sorry, girl. Senator Braun.
Here.
Senator Stockler.
Here.
He's on the Zoom tonight.
Oh, great. All right, roll call has been called.
Awesome. Thank you, President King. Do you want to go ahead into your executive report?
Yes. All right. Vince is on right now, but he's working on getting the retreat email. We have our retreat tomorrow. We have our retreat tomorrow at the Buchanan Club. Thank you for the all the camera attention. It's at the Buchanan Club from 6 to 9 p.m. Hopefully you guys filled out the RSVP. We're looking forward to having you guys. We have some fun things planned. Programming has worked really hard to get this together. Just quick update on that. The dress code is business semi-formal. You're going to be taking your headshots, so just wear whatever you feel comfortable in terms of having your picture up on the website for the whole year. And hopefully you guys can use it for your LinkedIn and whatnot. And that's kind of that's all I've been working on so far, kind of getting that together. But so far the meetings with Ackridge and administrators have been going really well. So we're making movement, making our mark. So that's it for me for today. Thanks.
Awesome. I can move into my executive reports. First off, I was able to attend a really cool event last night. I don't know if anybody heard about Soviet chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov visiting campus yesterday. I was able to attend the Purdue Presidential Lecture Series and then attend dinner at Westwood, and it was such a cool experience. If anybody's into chess, look him up. I know nothing about chess. All I know comes from the Queen's Gambit, but it was a really interesting experience, and was able to put PSG's name out there and ask him some questions about student advocacy, protecting, civic engagement and democratic practices. And his number one answer for how student activists can do that specifically was through engagement. So just a little bit of a reminder for everybody, keep fighting the good fight and keep chugging along. Into the Senate Associate Member Program, if you have or there was, a candidate that we deemed worthy for the Senate Associate Member Program, you will be getting those names from me by the end of next week. And I'll be attaching a document that kind of outlines what a Senate Associate Member can do. So primarily, they have no voting power within the Senate, but Senate Associate Members, Lynn, you were a Senate Associate Member, right? Yeah, and I remember just kind of the contributions you made to UAA in terms of researching legislation, helping come up with ideas, helping execute any kind of responsibilities that a senator have. A Senate Associate Member can be a really awesome resource and also a mentoring experience for you as senators. So be on the lookout for more information from me very shortly. Office hours, so you guys decided via the poll that I put in the Slack that we will be doing a hybrid option. So that means you will have to have at least one office hour per week on Zoom and one office hour per week spent in the PSG sphere. So that's the second floor of Kroc. You can do it you can come hang out in Shannon and I's office and do it. You can hang out in the other rooms that are there. There are designated spaces for all of the colleges and all the executive directors and directors. And you could even spend both of those hours on Zoom if you would really like to, but just one of them, at least you physically, we'd like you to be in the PSG space. If that's something you're not comfortable with COVID-wise, please come talk to me and we can figure something out. But I will be dropping a link in the Slack for you to kind of, if you guys want to decide as senators in your college, maybe break up the time so your constituents have the most access to you. You can go ahead and speak about that amongst yourselves, but I'll be dropping a document into the Slack for you guys to kind of report back on how and when you'd like to do your office hours. Proxies, this is just a reminder that you are allowed 2 unexcused meetings per semester. If you have a hard time finding a proxy, personally, I live in a house with 80 girls who are in a lot of different colleges and want to be involved in PSG, and I could help you find a proxy. So if, just think ahead. You guys all have the Senate dates. If there's a date you know you can't attend, please contact Veronica or myself, and we will do our darndest to help you find a proxy. And then also, just like we saw this evening, we have a couple PSG members on Zoom. If for any reason, especially COVID related, you are not able to be here, I know the Purdue plague is popping back up. If you don't feel safe, if you feel sick, please, please, please let us know ASAP, okay? We, don't want everyone to go, oh, I don't feel like wearing business casual pants, so I just am gonna hop on the Zoom this week. Please don't abuse that privilege, but if you feel like you need to be on the Zoom, please let us know and we can get you the link for future meetings. Vince, on Zoom, do you have any executive reports?
Yes, hello. Okay, so my internet is a little bit shaky because I'm in a hotel right now because I have COVID, but I wanted to be able to hop on here and update you all with a few things. So if I freeze for an extended period of time, please just bear with me. I promise I'll be back. Shannon pretty much said the word on the retreat. You all should have gotten an email that was pretty comprehensive as far as information that you would need to know. Please be there on time. I know a few of you have messaged me saying that you have a class or something, you won't be there until a little later. That's totally fine. But if you are able to be there at 6, please do. There's a lot of great programming that is going to be planned for the night. The food is going to be there. You should have been able to see that as well. If none of that is edible for you for dietary restrictions, please quickly reach out to me so that we can attempt to figure something out. But in the short period of time that we had with the contract and the food that the Buchanan Club could get their hands on, shockingly still with COVID becoming an issue for them, that was the best that we could do. I attempted to have larger spreads with more variety, but that was the best thing we could get. So I hope it's up to everybody's standards. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there tomorrow, but there are people there who can run the event just fine. And as long as you all take care of the place and don't trash it, I really don't think we're going to have an issue anyways. So I hope it's an enjoyable experience for everyone. Please take advantage of the time that you're going to have to be able to meet one another. For those of you that haven't met members in other branches, and for those of you that have, to further develop those relationships. As far as BOD as a whole, we're off and running, we're moving. Events are occurring. Please keep checking the Slack because I'm encouraging committees to put their events, whether it be in the everyone or informal or different communication methods along those lines so that we can all be up to date. But we have a water balloon fight that's going to be occurring on Croc. So that's open to anybody once again. So grab your friends and go out there and go ahead and pelt each other with a few water balloons. We'll be having study sessions for student government throughout the week as well. This is going to be a time, yes, to study, but also to be able to see one another and spend some time with each other throughout the week, other than just informal meetings where you can't necessarily really talk to one another. But we are often moving, events are occurring. We have a lot of great things coming down the pipeline. And so I'm sure you'll be hearing from me more, but I wanted to be able to hop on and just give you the lowdown on what's going on. In that same notice, we have a Constitution Trivia Day. And we are looking for one more person to be able to add to our team. So we have 2, but we need 3. So is there anybody here that feels like they are pretty good with the Constitution?
It's okay if you're not.
The United States.
You can guess. Yeah. No, the actual U.S. Constitution, not the PSG Constitution.
The times that you guys would be on, I believe, is 11:30, and so it would just be at the Union, 11:30 a.m. You'd be competing against, I think, PGSG. If we get one more person, we can compete against PGSG or the Social Studies Education Club. But I think it'd be super cool if one of you guys could represent us. Friday. It's 10. They've given us 10 to 2. But you'll start competing at 11:30 a.m. So just come up to either Olivia or I if you guys can. Just think about it.
I see you, Senator Merkel. I see you a little interested. Do I have any other executive reports at this time? Go ahead.
The SOGA board met last week to allocate funds for period 1. We had 73 applications from student organizations and allocated over $200,000 for their events.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. Any other executive reports? Moving on to committees, IA. Go ahead, Senator Ferguson.
Hi, so IA is currently working on 2 different projects. We're working on just a general constitutional update because while it is grammatically correct, finding things in it can be difficult, as well as we're looking into the underrepresentation in PSG issue that we started looking at last year.
Could you repeat that last part? Sorry.
The underrepresentation in PSG, that you started last year.
Awesome. Thank you. Moving on to financial affairs. Go ahead.
Yeah, so FA is currently working on getting the PSG Small Grant application up. The current goal is to have that aspirationally up on Monday to begin collecting applicants for it, updating some of the guidelines, making sure the actual application is all good. But yeah, we're moving full steam ahead with that project currently.
Perfect. Thank you. Moving on to CSRA.
Sorry, I'm chair, but this is my first time doing
You're
it.
okay. Have you guys met yet?
Yeah, so we met last Wednesday, so Wednesdays are our meeting days, and then starting this coming Wednesday, we're gonna start brainstorming events.
Awesome. Thank you so much. UAA.
Yeah, so we had our second meeting yesterday, and we have some potential projects that we're thinking of doing, and it looks like we're on a good track as of right.
Awesome. And any ad hoc reports? I know we'll hear from Safer later. Awesome. Moving on, do I hear any informal discussion? Okay, now moving on to old business. The chair would entertain a motion to indefinitely postpone Bill 2114A. I know we had a big snafu with this at our last meeting, but we, for a myriad of personal reasons, Jay Woodson will no longer be joining PSG, so the chair would entertain a motion to postpone indefinitely, which would essentially kill the bill. And this requires a second, is debatable, non-amendable, and requires a majority vote. Go ahead.
I motion to table Bill 2114A indefinitely.
Second. It has been properly moved and seconded to postpone Bill 2114A indefinitely. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Bill 2114A is postponed indefinitely. Moving on, do I hear any other new business? Senator Chris?
Motion to bring up Bill 2115.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2115, the cabinet appointment of co-EDs of sustainability, Supriya Patro and Sam Zhang. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. If you guys would like to go ahead and give a brief introduction of yourselves.
Hi, I'm Supriya Patro. I'm a junior majoring in energy engineering technology and also pursuing a private pilot's license. This is my second year on PSG. Last year I was just a director for the D&I committee. This year I have the honor of being the co-executive director for sustainability. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sam Zhang, and I'm a junior majoring in biomedical engineering and a minor in psychology. Last year, I served as a director of sustainability for the Sustainability Committee, and this year, I also have the honor of being appointed as a co-ED of sustainability.
Also, as an author, really quickly, I can just speak to the highest of accolades and just kind of, responsibilities based on your guys' application. I remember reading both of them and being blown out of the water. Sustainability is a huge priority for Shannon and I. We're really happy about you guys potentially joining the PSG family. Vince, would you like to say anything?
Sure. So yes, I guess I have two things I'd just like to touch on real quick. Cypria and Sam are both ready to go. They were a part of student government last year, and to be quite frank, they were some of the most active members on the committee last year. With it being COVID and being extremely difficult circumstances to navigate, they never quit on the team like some people did. They always showed up when it was time to show up, and they gave their best effort. And so heading into this year with Shannon and Olivia's platform having a large component of it being geared towards sustainability, we wanted to make sure that we had the right people in the right positions, and I'm confident with both of them. And tying into the fact why our last bill was tabled indefinitely, this was once again an issue that I know when we were bundling all these bills together for appointments, people were hesitant on. But I promised you I would take care of issues if there was one. And to be quite frank, unfortunately, it has already occurred this early, but that is an example of somebody not giving any effort or energy towards PSG and trying to leave the mark, if you will, that we're trying to leave this year. So I don't know if that carries any weight into this vote that you're going to have, but I promise you I'll take care of it if there's an issue, and I don't anticipate there being one here at all. They both have expressed that they want to make PSG the powerhouse for all of campus as a whole in sustainability, and with the plans that they have laid out, I don't see that being an obstacle that they can't overcome.
Is there any discussion? Senator Dodonna?
I was hoping that the two candidates can discuss a little bit about the direction that they plan to take the Sustainability Committee.
Hi, so we've had already 2 meetings with our committee, and all of our members are very enthusiastic. And the 3 big issues that were brought up were recycling and composting, working on renewable energy, and kind of raising awareness when it comes to carbon neutrality. So we have created 5 subcommittees, 2 that are being carried forward from last year, which is the Sustainability Summit and Town Hall, and the 3 new ones which I just mentioned.
To touch on that, it's clear that sustainability is a very wide and diverse array of topics, and we wanted to make sure that as a committee, as a strong committee of 7 directors and 2 co-EDs, that we can cover those bases that reflect the demands of the student body. Right now, with the push of carbon neutrality and with still so many questions in place about how Purdue can better manage its food waste and recyclables streams, that's how we devised, and that's how we think the direction should go. In addition, we wanted to keep engaging our sustainability efforts with the student body in a public image, and so we plan to continue having events, and we also have talks to work with the communications committee on creating monthly sustainability themed, like different themes, infographics, and also events that focus around that monthly theme.
Is there any other discussion? Alrighty, can we go ahead and have both of you step out for a little bit while we vote? A few more seconds here. Okay. All of those in favor of Bill 2115, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Bill 2115 passes unanimously. Thank you, Martia. Is there any other old business? Go ahead.
I motion to bring up Bill 2123.
It has been properly motioned and seconded to bring up Bill 2123, the Supreme Court appointment of Justice Rachel Glockner. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Rachel, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a junior in industrial engineering, and I'm also minoring in statistics and psychology. This is my second year with PSG, with last year serving as a clerk with the court, and I have the honor of being appointed as an associate justice this year.
Awesome. Is there any other discussion? Any questions from senators? Senator Ferguson?
Could you just go through your, like what you're currently involved in, your experience in the courts, just a general overview of that really quick? Either way, whatever you feel comfortable answering.
As I said, I've served as a clerk with the court, so with that, I took notes whenever we have weekly traffic court meetings. I've volunteered during Know Your Rights Week, along with other PSG events, mainly that.
Thank you, Senator Ferguson. Is there any other discussion? Okay. Rachel, would you go ahead and like to step out at this time? Okay, we'll now move into a vote on Bill 2123. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Bill 2123 passes unanimously. Thanks again, Martia. Congrats, Rachel. Is there any other old business? Senator Brenda?
Before presenting another bill, I have an inquiry I would like to present. Under the event that someone else, it appears that like that we postponed a motion indefinitely and that person was never appointed. But under the event that that does happen, will we be notified at that meeting that someone has been removed just for our purposes of knowing, I guess?
Like a running kind of update, if you will? Yeah. And we can start including that in whether that's an update via Slack or an update via email. I'll take note of that and make sure you guys are informed. I think it was more of just kind of like a personal matter, and so we just wanted to keep it kind of.
One other question. So
yeah.
Should an ED be depart PSG, we'd have to replace them if they're the sole ED. However, if it's a co-ED situation, is there a potential that we don't have to appoint another person, or do we have to replace that co-executive director with another to maintain two?
We don't specifically. I know, I can't remember off the top of my head, one of our committees currently only has one executive director. That just kind of depends on, so really according to our governing documents, we are allowed a maximum of 2 co-executive directors. It doesn't have to be 2, it can just be 1. We're gonna continue, if any of you know anybody in the class of 2025, we just sent out our applications again to the freshman class because they weren't on our first email list. So we're still getting applications in. People are still being interested in PSG every single day. So we continue to look for people that we think might, make the best fit for that position. But yeah, we'll keep you updated on any new developments. Thank you, Senator Brenda. Is there any other old business? Yeah, go ahead.
Motion to bring up Bill 2120.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2127, the PSG 2021-2022 budget. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion? Senator Brenda?
Just to reestablish, we talked about this at the last meeting, but we have to go through it again. Just in short, the Financial Affairs Committee kind of changed things up just a little bit and got approval from the treasurer and the executive, obviously, as it's presented here. But the big change was that we took away some money from the apparel budget and moved it to the board of directors discretionary fund, and there's more money allocated to ad hoc committees also.
Yep. And you are seeing this bill for the second time because according to our governing docs, the budget has to be approved twice. President Kang? Would someone like to yield the president 2 minutes? Senator Brenda.
I yield President King 3 minutes of my time.
I believe that the parliamentarian mentioned that because I'm an author, I don't need to be yielded time.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
No worries. I can speak freely. So
Maximum of 10 minutes. I do know
all
that's
right,
a rule.
Buckle in. So going line item by line item here. No, I just wanted to thank you guys for reviewing the budget and also making the adjustments. I really appreciate that, the mindset that this money should be going to our students. Our members are our students, obviously, but the constituents are why we're serving and why we're in these positions. So that really shifted the perspective and just the mindset that Olivia and I are bringing into the school year. So really, really grateful for that. So I'm excited for this budget to be fully active and for us to really get into it.
Any other discussion? Alrighty, seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor of Bill 2127, please raise your name placard. All opposed, same sign. Any abstention? Bill 2127 passes unanimously. I'd just like to say congratulations to FA and our treasurer. I know you guys all worked so hard and spent a lot of hours looking through that, so we really appreciate it. Is there any more old business? Go ahead.
Can I have a senator yield me some time real fast?
Go ahead, Lily.
I yield the
Chief Justice.
Chief Justice. Thank you. 3 minutes.
This is a formality, but I need to swear in my justice.
Yeah, I was gonna wait till one more second, but yeah.
My bad.
Fine. We can go ahead and do it down. You can bring him down.
Yeah. All right, just go right ahead and repeat after me, okay? I, and state your name.
I, Rachel Gluckman.
On this day of September 15th, 2021.
On this day of September 15th, 2021.
Swear to abide by and uphold.
Swear to abide by and uphold.
The bylaws and the Constitution.
The bylaws and the Constitution.
Of the Purdue Student Government.
Of the Purdue Student Government.
I swear.
I swear.
To conduct all judicial business.
To conduct all judicial business.
With just and ethical intent.
With just and ethical intent.
In the interest of achieving a fair resolution.
In the interest of achieving a fair resolution.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Do I hear any other old business at this time? Seeing none, we'll move into new business. Do I hear any new business? Senator Chris?
Motion to bring up resolution 2128.
Second. It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2128, the Purdue University Safer Sexual Misconduct Action Plan for 2121 through 2122. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. I'll go ahead and turn it over to our authors for some discussion. Senator Donna.
Hello. So for this resolution, we're going to have some of the SAFER members go through some of the details that are included in this action plan, but I shall start off with a little introduction on exactly what it is. So the SAFER action plan aims to create an environment on campus where students feel both physically and mentally safe from any form of sexual misconduct. Additionally, by advocating for these changes, we want the student body to feel supported by the campus community, Purdue administration, and Purdue student government. This resolution in particular works to bring these recommendations to the entities that can implement these changes. Now, some SAFER committee members are going to talk about it in a little more detail of the different sections of the action plan.
So the first goal we have is titled Transparency, and basically we're discussing strategies to improve communication between student and administration in regards to sexual assault. We start by discussing clarification on expectations of behavior for both students and administration, including Title IX and the Student Code of Conduct. We advocate for change to university messaging and the Title IX harassment policy to be more inclusive to sexual misconduct. And finally, we advocate for regular emails and text messages and press releases to eliminate the hearsay that we can often have on campus in regards to sexual misconduct.
The second goal of the action plan is centered around destigmatization. So as sexual assault is, by nature an extremely sensitive topic to discuss, it's imperative to create the space for victims to report and seek help. The vast majority of rape cases go unreported, so that's why it's super important. According to RAIN, about 30% are reported in the public and only 20% in female students at college. So clarifying current policies within the administration and more frequent discussion of topics surrounding it would help destigmatize this issue, and which would help prevent, sexual violence. In the future, our committee proposes sending regular emails informing the student body on this topic, addressing sexual violence in the student handbook, and including written reporting procedures and resources for victims in syllabi. These proposed efforts will, help with destigmatization.
Our next goal that we had in mind relates to resources. We did an informal tabling event last semester, and the largest issue that came up was that people just did not know who to call, where to go, where to find that information, or even that this information existed in the first place. And we didn't know if that was just that they hadn't looked yet, or if it was that that information was not organized. So we did our own digging, and it was the latter. So this section discusses strategies in order to fix that issue, including consolidating the Purdue and SAFER resources to improve accessibility and transparency, having a one-on-one interface possibly with SAFER or Push or CAPS, something like that, as well as to display and market these resources in a more clear manner, similar to how we do for the Protect Purdue guidelines and COVID-19 related issues, how it's plastered all over campus. This should be a little more apparent than it is at the moment.
The last goal of the action plan, entitled Support, outlines how Purdue ought to expand avenues students can receive on campus following an instance of sexual misconduct. We advocate that further legal aid is provided to survivors who want to explore or choose to go through the legal system. Furthermore, by clearly delineating and centralizing the university protocols for sanctions against sexual perpetrators, survivors will be more likely to seek action against said perpetrators and will foster a safer environment on campus. Strengthening entities like CARE and CAPS through increased funding and personnel will allow for more survivors to receive the support they deserve. So this concludes all the sections of the action plan, and it's now all open to some questions.
Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Senator Chris.
So I just wanted to say that this is an incredible resolution, and I couldn't support it more. And then my question would be, assuming that this passes tonight, what would be next steps in continuing the process of getting this through the administration?
Senator Dodonna.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the primary reason for this resolution is to get it out to the entities who can actually implement these changes. Within the resolution, we have it going to ODOS, Purdue graduate student government, as well as university senate committees. The goal is to have the full support of Senate and moving into these conversations that we've already started, but by saying that we have both SAFER's advocacy as well as all of Purdue students government is what we're going to use to lead into these discussions and hopefully implementing the things that SAFER is talking about within this action plan.
Go ahead, Senator Friedland.
Again, amazing written resolution. I also had a question kind of for after the potential of this passes. I know we've seen kind of all around the country currently, there's a lot of issues with like fraternities and sororities. Do you have any plans to work with the FSCL office at this time?
Yeah, so currently our plan is to we've already had in the past some relation with them, but we would like to continue that and move these efforts in all areas of student life as well as in fraternity and sororities.
Go ahead.
Kind of repeating what has already been said, this is an awesome resolution, very well worded. I was just wondering if you could quickly give a definition of sexual misconduct. I feel lots of times it can be kind of seen as only the most serious cases, but I know it extends more than just that.
Senator Dodona.
Yeah, so sexual misconduct accompanies for a lot of different acts, including sexual assault, rape, sexual violence as a whole. It includes a variety of lists, and I believe within the action plan, we sort of give a more thorough definition of those all.
Go ahead, Senator Braun.
I was just wondering about, I read it in the actual resolution, and then you also talked about it a little bit, but I wasn't sure what you meant by having emails sent out. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Senator Ferguson.
Yeah, so just to not have Ellie speak all the time, basically how we have for like campus shootings or like events on campus that happen, we'll hear a lot of hearsay on campus to like, oh, I heard that this happened at this house last weekend, and you don't know what's actually happening. So having actual informed and representative things coming from Purdue administration, coming from Purdue police, same thing that we get for when we have like emergency, there's a tornado sighting, like very similar to that would be what we're wanting to do in terms of sexual assault and sexual misconduct.
So I noticed in your goals, the reason for doing the sexual misconduct training each year is because it's, you know, fairly kind of worked in and not as useful in the traditional training. And so we're making this new one, which will be briefer. I'm worried that if it's briefer, with the original one being already sort of easy to do and brief, what are your thoughts on making the course semesterly rather than annually?
Senator Ferguson.
I think that our main thought of having it be briefer is that it's less of a barrier to students, because a lot of, for the long, if it's long, you're gonna wanna click through it all. If it's briefer, you might be more apt to actually read it. It was the thought process behind it. I don't know if any of you, a lot of us are older students, and so we don't remember that first campus training that we had at the very beginning that went over like definitions of consent, and this is alcohol training and all of that, that many of us just clicked through because it was really long and no one wanted to actually do it. But our thought of having it briefer, I would not be against personally doing it on a semester-long basis. I believe we did say yearly in the resolution, but I think that that's one of those things that we could discuss with administration as this process of getting this training out there comes along.
Is there any other discussion? Senator Chris?
So this is a question back to the email thing. So would it be like an email like when one is sexual, sorry, I can't think, misconduct is like reported, or is it like it's confirmed? Is it like investigation? Like what part of the process would the email be sent out?
Senator Dodona.
Yeah, so we do not specify this within the resolution. It is generally talked about as some sort of update in regards to when an action occurs, and there's a lot of hearsay on campus to clarify what's happening. I think that really goes down to privacy issues and legal issues. So defining exactly when that would go out, we do not know. However, it would be in respect to what ODIS is allowed to share as well as what the police is allowed to share. So it would be something that we would discuss hopefully in discussing with ODIS and police, West Lafayette Police Department.
Go ahead.
Would text messages accompany the email, or is it just email being sent?
Senator Ferguson.
We did, that was actually an addition that President Kang had us add in, that text messages would be as well.
Any other discussion? Senator Brenda.
I find the bill to be interesting, and I fully support it. I remember speaking to Vice President Wyrick about something very similar, thought that I had completely independent of this group for the exact same reason. Like, it was like, all right, that's cool. My thought would be that I would not hesitate to make it longer for the fact that, like, even if someone, like, let's say a group of friends, like one person did it and took it really seriously, and the other people were just going to try to click through it, if that person were helping them, they'd at least be spurring a decision or like a discussion about it. My thought would be that there are times where if you don't conduct something on your way into Purdue, they literally will lock your account and you can't register. I think it should be one of those definitely this is that level that if you don't complete it by September 15th, you can't register for spring classes. But I don't know, I really support the bill entirely. If I could sponsor, I know it can't be, I'm not an author of it, but if I like sponsor it or something, I would, or like endorse it. Like, heck yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking. But yeah, no, I definitely would agree that I would not hesitate to make it longer though, if serious, because as a senior, you know, you don't really have any paperwork when you arrive on campus, and you can just show up and just have a good time that first week and not really do anything.
Senator Dodona.
You can give a little bit more of a context on this conversation about sort of an educational platform for sexual misconduct before at certain times or certain length. This is something we actually tried to work on last year and received a lot of bureaucratic tape around. So currently the thought is to trying to get in the door with this conversation and hopefully have something added. Not that we don't think that what everyone's saying is important, but we know that there is some administrative issues with it. So the initial plan is to sort of go forward as much as possible and hopefully include some of the things that Senator Merkel and Senator Brenda are including when having these conversations with and Purdue administration.
Senator Ferguson.
And I would also just like to second, when we say brief, we're not meaning just the consent T video, which is all I remember from our freshman orientation. I would think like 30 minutes to take this, not like a 5-minute, let's read through the introduction. This isn't, when we say brief, we mean we don't want this to take you 2 hours, is more the thought of that. Because when you get into the Title IX, the ODOS, like all of that could take you and did take a lot of us a long time to kind of weave through all of this, and we don't want it to be something like that.
Yeah. Would someone like to allot their favorite chair a minute at their time? Senator Ferguson.
I'll allot President Kang 2 minutes.
Oh, I meant me.
Oh, Chair. Sorry. Oops.
I see how it is. Go ahead.
Vice President Wyrick, 2 minutes.
No hard feelings. I just wanted to not only, express my gratitude to all of the authors for working on this project, for every single person on this campus. We see you. You're advocating for the people on this campus who have, sometimes the weakest voice in a lot of circumstances. So you should be really proud of yourselves. This is an awesome, amazing first big step for people at Purdue. And I'm really, really, really excited and proud to deliver it to administration, University Senate, and Graduate Student Senate. So thank you so much. I just wanted to add that. Is there any other discussion? Go ahead.
I just have one more question. When it comes to like the educational trainings that you're talking about, have you guys thought about like, I don't know, like who designs the stuff on Brightspace or whatever, but I know like the Protect Purdue and like the stuff we had to do last year, like you could easily just like swipe through the whole video without watching it and just easily answer the question. So is there something like, I just wanted to put it out there when we think about like how like it's mandatory to watch the video before you can even get to the question page instead of going to the questions directly and then just blindly answering them until you get 100.
Yes, that's a really great suggestion. I think that the goal is to sort of introduce this to the administration and work out some of the kinks in regards to that, because that's an issue with all university courses currently. So hopefully implementing this and then helping to be the most successful program it can be.
A really quick question. So I'm not sure like if you guys have any relation with the PSSP Safe Walk program that's on the back of our IDs, but do you know if that's still existent or if any students have further information to gain more resources about that?
I do not know if that is currently existent. Martia can answer.
Go ahead, Martia.
Can I yield there? I yield the 2 minutes to Martia.
Thank you. Yes, it does still exist. Nick Crosby with PPD is a liaison for student organization. They are students who walk. That does exist. So it can be used and added into whatever measures are used.
Awesome. Is there any other discussion? Senator Brenda?
I just wanted to mention that I've done some TA work with and like tried to build Brightspace courses, and I think there is a way that you can make something not, you have to at least view every topic before you can access like the examination part. So I suppose someone could click through it, but they would have to at least open each page before the exam becomes available.
Awesome. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote on Resolution 2128. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Resolution 2128 passes unanimously. Congratulations. Is there any other new business? Senator Karana?
Motion to bring up Bill 2120.
Second. It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2129, the addition of Safer Sexual Misconduct Action Plan to the PSG bylaws. It's amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Senator Dona, you can take it away with discussion.
Great. So we're not going to recover all the action plan stuff because it's the same from this resolution to this bill. The main distinction on changing this one from a resolution to a bill is to add it into our bylaws, particularly under the action plan section, which is built for things that are exactly like this. We modeled this action plan off of a great action plan that was done 2 years ago, the Diversity and Inclusion Action Plan. Within our action plan, we discuss a lot about what Purdue student government as well as what SAFER can do to help. So cementing this in our governing documents is the sentiment behind including it within our bylaws.
Senator Ferguson?
And I would just like to say, in addition to this, I think that all of you have made some really great points, and I think that if you are interested in continuing this conversation and joining SAFER, we do meet weekly on Thursdays. Ellie could give you more information, but yeah.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a vote on Bill 2129. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstention? Bill 2129 passes unanimously. Is there any other new business? Senator Chris?
Motion to bring up Bill 2130.
Do I hear a second? It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2130, the proposal for PSG Ad Hoc Committee for Mental Health Action, better known as MHA. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Senator or Pro Temp Reynolds, would you like to talk a little bit about it?
Thank you so much. And we had some great questions in caucus too. But yeah, this bill is just a proposal to get the ad hoc committee for MHA started for this year. Ad hoc committees have to be renewed every year, so this is the one for this year. MHA was started my freshman year, so 2 years ago was the first one. It started as Mental Health Awareness Week. I'm sure a lot of you remember that. And then last year it was Mental Health Action Week. And the first one, it was knocked out of the park. It was huge. People loved it. We got feedback that it should be changed to Mental Health Action Week because there's a lot of things that you can do really easily to spread awareness, and a lot of people do that around campus already. But and we have like the center spurt and things like that. But this committee last year, we actually did take mental health action through the committee. It was a week of good events that were happening around campus. We had over 35 organizations plan events during the week, and everyone in PSG participated. We all folded bandanas in this room, and every committee had their own event, and it was really fun. And from Mental Health Action Week, we passed legislation in this room as well in Senate to create a budget for it, bring in speakers. We brought in I'm so sorry, the Boilermaker Support Network, which is hopefully launching in the spring. We're currently working on it right now with the support network. There's successful student-run support networks at University of Michigan, and I think Michigan State, another one.
Yeah,
and then
Michigan State.
Yeah, and then so we're just basing off of their plan. It's going to be successful. I'm so excited for it to launch for the spring. And we also had a mental health action roundtable with student leaders from other organizations to talk and other cultural centers, and we got their input. And they all were talking about things for next year. next MHA. So people are going to join. It's going to be a good time. If you're interested in joining, if this passes, please reach out to me. The call-out will be soon. But yes, I would love to have another year of MHA. And it says on there, I'm looking for a co-chair, but we have to see. I know I can't do it all by myself. I have to see who joins the committee. Maybe I have like a team or something like that. We'll see. But yes, thank you.
Thank you, Pro Temp Reynolds. I can just speak a little bit, all returning senators, we know MHA, we know what it looks like. I think especially in, throughout this school year, we've focused so much already on kind of building the sense of Boilermaker community. Lowell Kane spoke about the Rainbow Call Out, about this being the year of Purdue Joy. And MHA, even though mental health isn't always the easiest topic to approach, brings that sense of community and that sense of belonging and kind of grace and vulnerability to campus. And so I hope you all vote in favor of creating the ad hoc committee, and just know that MHA, really functions to make life better at Purdue. Provide you with resources, provide you with opportunities and outlets for how stressful it is to be, at one of the most prestigious public research institutions in the world. Is there any other discussion? Senator Dodona?
Firstly, I'd just like to say how much I support this bill, particularly as an ad hoc committee. It makes a lot of sense and really works for Purdue student government. I just have one friendly amendment that I believe that needs to be added in accordance with the bylaws, that within the therefore clause, that it states that the whatever standing committee that Pro Temp Reynolds decides will hold purview over the MHA ad hoc committee as required by the bylaws. That's a friendly amendment.
To add a specific committee to oversee MHA?
Yeah, so last year with the new addition to the ad hoc rules, it requires that every ad hoc committee have a purview committee of one of the standing committees. So I believe that just needs to be added within the therefore clauses.
Okay.
That's a friendly amendment to be accepted by the authors.
I accept.
I also accept. I will probably do CSRA because I feel like that's, I'm sure you all can agree.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote on Bill 2130. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Seeing none, Bill 2123 passes unanimously. Or 2130, sorry. Is there any other new business? Okay. Moving on to announcements. I just have two quick announcements. I know personally midterms are starting to kick off for me. I'm sure they are for you all as well. Please take care of yourself. If there's something within your Senate duties, you're like, I'm just too stressed, school is a little too much to handle right now, communicate with, either the chair of your committee. You can come talk to Shannon or Veronica or myself or Martia any time that you may need, but please take care of yourself. And again, just like Lowell said in his special programming presentation, if you'd like to kind of, be a part of the bridge between the LGBTQ Center and PSG, come find me and I can set up a connection email. And I think that's all for me. Does anyone have any other announcements? President Kang?
Anyone want to compete in the Constitution quiz off?
I'm looking at you, Senator Merkel.
I'll do it.
Yeah, Nathan! Bring us the gold! Bring us the gold!
Are there any other announcements? I hope I didn't peer pressure you into that. Go ahead, Pro Temp Reynolds.
Oh my gosh, I always blank this. But the two new senators and the committee chairs, especially IA, please come up here and we can figure out what committees they're going to be in. And they are updated in the roster for any student staff people listening, so they're in the roster. And then also, senators, this is something I'd like you to do. If you can turn to the senator next to you who's also in your college and get their phone number and make sure you have their phone number soon. I will release the Senate duties list and you'll have to get started on those. So just make sure, let's all be friends. So get their phone numbers. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other announcements? Seeing none, we'll move into Senate Snaps. Woo! For our new senators, Senate Snap is a time for us to just kind of recognize everyone's hard work and diligence and everything you're doing. My first Senate Snap goes to our two new senators. Thanks for joining the PSG family, and we're so excited to have you. And are there any other Senate Snaps? Come on, y'all. Recognize everybody. Pro Temp Reynolds.
I want to give some sense to the whole Safer Committee, and even these people in the back. I don't know if they can get a snack or not, but they definitely deserve snaps. It's so well written. You guys are all clearly passionate about it, and that's really a good idea as well. So, good job.
Any other Senate snaps?
I'd like to give a Senate snap to Senator Buftis. Some situations led to us having a committee of 3 for IA, and we were trying to have co-chairs, but he very respectfully stepped back, so like I didn't very awkwardly have to vote between 2 people. So big shout out for that. It just made things a lot smoother, I feel, and like a lot less awkward, so much obliged. Thank you.
Any other Senate snaps? Okay, those that got one, feel free to come down and get a snack at the end of the meeting. Seeing no further announcements of snap, the chair would recognize a motion to adjourn. Senator Chris?
Madam Chair, motion we do now adjourn.
It has been properly moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. It is not amendable, is not debatable, and requires a 2/3 vote. We'll attempt to take this vote via voice acclamation. There we go. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.